Howdy everyone, Poacher here with an Age of Magic video, and in today's video we're doing the Hero Spotlight for the final character to come out for the Van Norths, Raymund, the Ranged Damager. We'll go over his stats, his abilities, and have a little bit of a play around in the arena and have a look at how this character could potentially be used. But with his stats coming in with hit points just over 16 million at completely maxed out in every aspect, speed 256, armor 146k, magic damage resistance 373k, basic magic damage 3.2 million, just shy of 3.3. Magic critical hit chance 60%. So as you can see, even though he is the range damager, he is magic based, and magic critical damage is 5.5 million. And here are his more in-depth stats. Feel free to pause and take any information you see fit and use it how you see fit. Completely up to you. There you go, there it is. Good luck. So we'll jump into the arena now and start looking at this character's abilities. Jumping into the arena, we have Raymund's basic attack, Polar Flash. Performs a magic attack on one target. Steals 30% of initiative from the target for every effect on them, except passive and leader, and gives it to Raymund. The attack will be critical if the target has no buffs other than from passive and leader abilities. Awakening this ability gives it a 50% damage increase. Now, to understand this hero, we need to understand his basic attack, because it's not really a basic attack. It's almost a special ability. It's probably one of the best basic attacks I've ever seen. Let's start with the stealing initiative. He steals 30% initiative for every effect on the target. Now, it's interesting wording because it does not say buff. It says effect, which means it's 30% initiative stolen for every debuff and buff. So now, there is a lot of possibilities for this character to get multiple turns, but keep in mind that you're stealing the initiative, so you are taking the initiative. So even if you attack a character that has 4 debuffs, for example, and they're at, say, just for the example, 100% initiative, you use this ability against them, you steal 120% initiative. So you'll cap at 100, you'll steal 100% initiative, you'll get another turn. Now pretend none of those debuffs are removed. They still have 4 debuffs on them. Performing this ability again against that target will net you 0 initiative since they have no initiative to steal. So keep that in mind. But then it gets very interesting, because say you attack a target and steal their initiative and get another turn, and then there's another target on the enemy team that has initiative that you can steal. You can start to chain this. It's going to be very rare you get an instant second turn from using this, but there is the potential to get very close, very close. And then followed up by the fact that if the target has no buffs, you will get a guaranteed critical strike. Now, normally I do not recommend awakening basic abilities, especially when their awakening is a simple damage increase, but there could be argument to awakening this, since you may be using it a lot, and you aren't just going to be using it when it's Raymund's turn. There is the potential to use it when using one of his other abilities, which we will go over soon. So it's a very powerful basic attack, very powerful. There could be argument, like I said, to awaken it. Completely up to you. When he's released, play around, see what you're getting out of it and what you could potentially get out of it, and make a decision from there. And above all else, it triggers the range damager class mark. Got to mention that. So yeah, pretty top tier basic ability. Checking out the animation for the ability, we go ahead, we're going to attack the enemy Ramfort. The spear glows and shoots across the field. And yeah, nothing crazy about the animation, it's just the ability that is insane. Moving on to Raymund's second ability, we have Wellspring Pulse. Deals 3 magic strikes to one target. Has a 100% chance per strike to remove a random buff from the target and replace it with 2 stacks of resonance. The target will receive damage equal to 70% of Raymund's basic damage for every effect absorbed by the Veneer. Resonance limit is 6. Raymund will perform an additional attack on the target with Polar Flash. It's meant to say Flash, it's a translation issue. If the target has no buffs other than from passive and leader abilities. Awakening this ability increases the damage of the ability by 50%, and the resonance limit is increased to 9. So this is a very interesting ability with the potential to do lots of damage and lots of initiative manipulation for Raymund. So Ignore the enemies on the field. Let's just quickly look at the animation of the ability before I forget to use it. So we're going to go ahead and attack the Ramfit. Boom, boom, boom. Done. Wonderful. Okay, so let's talk about the interaction with the ability. Ignore all the enemies on the field and imagine there's one big gatekeeper there with 0 buffs and 4 debuffs. Now, if we cast Wellspring Pulse against that gatekeeper, we are going to trigger the Polar Flash to occur. So we will use this ability, we'll get damage from this ability, and then we will follow up with a basic attack. Now, this is important to note that it states Polar Flash and does not say support attack, because when we use Polar Flash, it will follow the rules of Polar Flash. Since that gatekeeper has 4 debuffs on him, we can then steal up to a 120% initiative from that gatekeeper with the Polar Flash backup attack. So it's a very interesting interaction. You're getting 2 abilities for the price of 1 and the potential to steal the initiative from the enemy as well. Not to mention that with no buffs on the enemy, you will get a guaranteed critical strike from Polar Flash as well. Very, yeah, I would love to see the damage potential. I mean, we will get to test him at the end of the video. Stay tuned for that. But this character has a lot of interactions built within him. It's quite complicated, but yeah, there's a lot of interaction with just this character alone and how he works. Moving on to his third ability, we have Unquenchable Thirst. Performs a magic attack on one target, removes all debuffs from the target. For every debuff removed, deals additional damage equal to 70% of basic damage and restores 40% of his HP. Blocks the target's special abilities for 2 turns. Awakening this ability increases the additional damage and percent of restored HP. So we go from 70 to 85% of the damage, and we go from 40 to 50% of HP restored. Very interesting ability. It's a trade-off. You're removing debuffs from the enemy, which are there to help you in exchange for healing HP and doing extra damage to that target. Additionally though, it's the block the target from using special abilities. That's the important part. 2 turns of them using their basic attack. Yeah, it's worth it. Just strip the debuffs, get some good damage out, heal some HP and block them. There's not many characters off the top of my head that really remove debuffs from the enemy. I think the only character that I can think of is Succubus, where she can silence the enemy and then she removes that silence to deal additional damage with her third ability. So, I mean, there might be another character in between, but that's the only one that comes to my mind. It's been a long time since we've seen a hero with an interaction like that. So we'll have a look at the animation of the ability. Again, we're going to go ahead and attack the... Oh, let's attack Astoria. So, nice. Oh, yeah, that's cool. Just shoots his spear and drags it back with a mystical string. Not bad. Okay, one more ability, his passive. Let's jump into it. There is a lot to the passive, so let's get straight into it. Victim of Pride. Enemy healing efficiency decreased by 60%. Lifesteal. When an enemy is healed by their abilities, except for leader and passives, Raymond restores 33% of his HP. When Raymond dies, he casts Spirit Anchor on allied Veneer. When a Van absorbs an effect, Raymond is immediately revived with 50% HP, 50% initiative, and ability timers at 0. Anchor dissolves after triggering. The effect will only trigger once every 2 Raymond turns. Magic Absorption. Every time an enemy uses an ability, except leader and passive, to cast an effect, they have a 100% chance of failing. The chance is 10% less for every other allied Van, so it drops to a 60% chance. It's very interesting wording. I think that's there for maybe potentially COC use. But in a standard team, you're not only running Raymond, you're running 4 other primarily Van characters. So the 100% is very alluring, but it's actually 60%. And 17% less for every other allied non-Veneer, so it gets even lower. Raymond casts 1 stack of accumulated might on self for every effect absorbed by an allied Van. When 7 stacks accumulates, they explode and deal damage equal to 140% of Raymond's basic damage. At the start of the round in Cradle of Chaos, blocks enemies from casting buffs for 2 turns. That's not horrible for Cradle of Chaos players. Awakening this ability, you get also blocks enemies from casting buffs in Raid. Nice. That's going to be good for Nightmare. Enemy healing efficiency is reduced, so it's 80% healing. Yeah, nice. Raymond recovers more HP for enemy heals. He goes to 45%. Accumulated might stacks explode earlier. Nice. Yeah, right. This is, I think this is good. I think I would awaken this. This would probably be my #1 awakening for the hero. Healing reduced. Recovers more HP when the enemy does heal. And yeah, the explosion, I'd love to see how much damage that does. So yeah, very, very interesting hero. Yeah, I think he has the potential to do a lot of damage, get a lot of turns out very quickly. And yeah, I mean, what more is there to say? It's very interesting. I think he's probably one of the better Van Norths for sure. The question is, who do you replace on the team? I will be running a battle now against the fabled Cathay Cloud Wanderers. Everyone is being accustomed to now. They are seeing them in Arena. It is a completely maxed out team. So let's see how the Vans do against this version of the Cloud Wanderers. So jumping into battle, we'll go to a 2x speed. Old Cathay gets his little nifty ability out. We're going to go ahead and it doesn't apply the veneer mark. That's fine. It is what it is. Astoria doing her basic. She got her buffs out. I'm pretty sure it got absorbed. Okay, we're going to go ahead and remove the taunt from the Ramfit. Oh, it's amazing seeing that much damage done against a Ramfit. He's just so tanky. So tanky with his mechanical wing. Okay, we're going to go and use Icy Kiss. Now remember, these are two completely maxed out teams. Boom, Sierra Astoria. Thanks for playing. Okay, we're going to go up and follow with our third from our Halus. Get some nice damage, take out the little boy and the snake-haired woman. There is no resurrection because of Halus. There are 2 characters left. We're in pretty good state. Out goes another magic absorb. Okay, we're going to go ahead and use our buffs. There goes the magic absorb again. We should just be able to... Bang. Dead. Oh, he's so good. He's so good. Now, this is the Cloud Wanderer team we are accustomed to at the moment. I do not know how this interaction will happen when Bliss is in the team. I feel like it will be a different story. I feel like Bliss is a counter for the Van North, so... Oh, she hung in there a little bit. There you go. Oh, he's such a cool looking character as well. But that is the Raymond and the Van Norths in action. Completely maxed out teams. And that is what we are potentially looking at in the near future when he's released. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. I will answer it to the best of my ability. And if you're around the world, until next time, please take care of yourself.